Welcome back, everyone. Our guest today is the 75th president of the Student Government Association here at Fayetteville State University. Please welcome Johnae Walker. Welcome to the show, Johnae. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Madam President, how you doing?
Just a tiny bit stressed lately just because, countdown to graduation.
Okay, yes. How's that going? Talk about that. You biology major.
Yes.
Oh, my God. How's that going?
Of course, it's my last semester, so I've been applying to grad school because I want to get my master's in public health.
Okay.
I want to pursue a career in epidemiology, basically studying the patterns and trends in infectious diseases or like any disease.
Okay.
It could be like chronic illnesses, the things with COVID, like any type of
So you're trying
disease.
to cure disease. Maybe
Yes.
hopefully she can cure cancer.
That would be amazing.
That would be great.
That would
So
be
research.
amazing.
Well,
Yes.
you ever thought about doing it in McNair Scholar?
I did consider it, but I was like, I wasn't sure if I was that passionate enough.
In research, okay.
So I was kind of like bouncing between pharmacy school, and then I was like, oh my God, I love public health. So then I think kind of between my junior and my senior year, I was like, oh no, I think you should switch to public health. So ever since I've been hooked on epidemiology, I love it.
So talk about what made you want to get into that. What made you want to get into like being a science geek?
Oh, I think it all started in my high school. Like I think I was in a sophomore in high school. I took my first biology class. I literally, everything in that class just came so natural to me, like genetics. Like we talked about so much in that class, and I was just like, oh, these tests are so easy. Like I'll pass every test. I was like, I should be a biology major when I go to college. So and then, I got humbled when I took my first general chem 1 class. All of my biology majors can attest to this.
Yeah, get humbled.
That class, was literally no joke. But of course, with being a bio major, you kind of have to take those chemistries. You have to take a little bit of physics, and don't get me started on physics. That was my butt. But those biology classes, those I really love. Like I had to take a class called biostatistics, kind of like programming.
Okay.
So it's a statistical programming software that we can use to analyze different data and stuff, of any science experiments that we do. It's a really cool programming system. It's called R.
Okay.
So I really want to get specialize my skills there, or even SAS, all the different type of statistical software. So I'm really looking forward to that. So, yeah.
Now, talk about the types of things that you enjoy here at Fayetteville State. What made you want to come here?
I think it was really, of course, everyone knows that Fayetteville State University is also known as Family State University. And literally, I felt that when I toured the school because, unfortunately, I didn't get to have, a normal in-person orientation or even an open house.
Yeah.
So I came and toured in 2021. It was around March, and me and my mom, we came down from Charlotte and we did a drive-through tour of the campus, and it was very creative. I was like, I really love that Fayetteville State did it. And so we were literally listening to this thing in the car, it was that's a recorded taping, and it just told us everywhere that we needed to drive through. And I was like, this is not bad. I was like, this campus is actually really nice. And then we ended up at the Seabrook, where, of course, the SJ president at the time, Sidney Harris, was, Miss Fayetteville State at the time, all the student leaders and, the orientation leaders. And I just got to talk to some of the students, and I was just like, wow, it really feels home here. Of course, it's not that big of a school like A&T or all the other big HBCUs. So I was like, I really don't want to go to a big HBCU. I wouldn't mind going to a smaller school where I could feel like I can grow and excel. And so I definitely feel like I did that here, and I'm just blessed for Fayetteville State.
Now, why did you want to go to a HBCU?
I think, of course, I wanted to go to a school where students that, of course, look like me, and professors that just because I feel like HBCUs just have the best professors in my opinion. I have grown very close to a lot of my professors just because it's they have that personal connection. Of course, we have that professional connection, but also a personal connection because they just want to see the best out of me as a student and, of course, as a scientist. So, of course, I just want to go to school with people that look like me, and I don't know. I just love everything about HBCUs, the culture, the family, of course, the food.
The food. That's a good one.
Okay. I think I've always been to HBCU since I was a little girl. My dad, he went to Tuskegee. He's a Tuskegee alum, so I kind of got exposed to it early. The marching band. Okay.
Well, our marching band's top 3 now, according to the polls, right? Yes.
Come on, Bronco Express. I know that's right. So yeah, I just love everything about HBCU since I was young. So
that's good. What made you want to go into student government? You're the 75th. That's a kind of a big deal. How did you get into student government? I know you were in SGA as a junior class president, correct?
First, I started off as a sophomore class
Senator. Then you went to junior class president.
I went to actually SGA vice president.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so talk about your journey in SGA and why you got into student government. Talk about that.
So I know literally I set a goal for myself before I came to college. I was like, you're not going to stay in this bubble. You're going to grow. You're not going to be so standoffish and be afraid to join things. I want you to get out there, of course, and just grow. So I made a promise to myself before I came to college. I was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So literally after my freshman year, I kind of just got a feel for the campus. I was like, I need to see what I'm interested in. And then I think they were just having all these interest meetings for Big Ten organizations. So like big organizations on campus, like the Military Student Association, the Student Activities Council, and of course SGA. And so I was like, I'm not really, like, of course, homecoming is fun, and I love, shout out to the Student Activities Council, I love them. But I was like, I don't think that's something I want to do. I was like, I really want to, I just want to advocate for people and make change. So I was like, I think SGA, I should try it at least, And the funny thing is I did not even campaign. I was just like, if I get the position, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And so I ran for the position. I ended up getting it. And I was just like, okay. I was like, I kind of was like, I don't know if I want to do this, but let's just do it. Let's just take a leap of faith. And so I think it was my first Senate meeting. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And so, like, ever since we had started and then we matriculated through the year, I had a really good sophomore class council. I love them. And so I think just towards the end of the year, I was just like, wow, this is something I really want to do. And then I also served as the chair of the Information Technology Committee. I think it's called. We have so many committees at SGA. And so I actually built a great relationship with the Vice Chancellor of Information Technology on campus. And so literally, like, every time we met, we had a meeting because I had to meet with him at least once a month. And so I would always tell him if students had issues with, like, different technology issues on campus, the Wi-Fi was a big thing my sophomore year because it was kind of like a new system that they were using to make the Wi-Fi better.
Okay.
And so a lot of students were like, oh, the connection in the academic buildings was, like, terrible. And so it was my job. I was like, oh, I need to make sure I tell Dr. Molina this at our next meeting. And so I will always, make sure I told him those issues and concerns that students were having. Literally, I swear, like, at least a month or two later, or even the following school year, like, I barely heard any issues of people having Wi-Fi issues in academic buildings or even in their dorms. So I think it's gotten a lot better since I've been on campus. Hallelujah. The Wi-Fi was very special at first, but now it's gotten a lot better. So I think just seeing of the change that I made just from improving Wi-Fi issues on campus, I was just like, I can do so much more. And then the SGA president at the time, Maya Martin, she was actually the one that kind of pushed me to run for SGA vice president because I was just like, I didn't want to do SGA vice president. I was just like, I wanted to do kind of like attorney general. I was like, I kind of wanted to take a small step. That was like a huge step for me because I was just like, I'm a sophomore class senator and I'm thinking about going to a vice president position. I had never served on a position of that level ever in my life. So took a leap of faith again. I got that position and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a lot. I was like, I'm basically the next person in command after the SGA president. I was like, this is a lot. And so also Lamaya Moffitt, my dear friend, she's passed away this year. But
I'm sorry.
She influenced me a lot also to run for SGA vice president. She was just like, I can see you doing that. I see the potential in you. Like, she just pushed me. Her and Maya pushed me, like, phenomenally. And so from that position, Lord, I ran for SGA president. And I was like, what am I doing? I was like, sophomore class senator, SGA vice president, and SGA president. I was just like, is this something like, is it like, again, I was like questioning myself every time. I was like, is this something that I actually want to do? Took a leap of faith. I was like, I got that position. And like, I'm so grateful that I joined SGA just because of course, like, I care about the student body and I care about what their needs are and what they want to see from our campus because our campus has so much, of course, like, our campus since I've been here has grown. Like, and I already know, of course, with our amazing chancellor, he's going to take it to new heights because that Starbucks, that Chick-fil-A was not here when I was a freshman.
Yeah.
And of course, Vance Hall, that dorm, it was old. So that dorm, of course, got knocked down. Now we're getting a new dorm. We're getting a new college education building. Like, I'm just so proud of everything that our university leadership is doing. So I think just me even being able to have a seat at the table with them is just an honor just because I'm just making sure that, of course, they hear what students have to say because they always care about what students have to say. They're always asking me, so President Walker, like, how would the students feel about this? Like, and that's one thing I love about our university leadership, because they do care about what students have to say.
Now I want to tell you this. You might not think you're in positions that you need or you think you should be in, but it's God's way of telling you that it's your time.
Amen.
And you just have to be ready for when it is your time. Just be ready, and you need to take advantage of that.
Yes, for sure.
And you have, and you've been doing a great job as president of SGA. Now, what type of stuff have you learned? As being the president, I know you worked your way up. You already know kind of the routines of how SGA works. But now you're not vice president. Now you're the president. Now you have bigger responsibilities. You got the board of trustees and all that stuff. You get to see from a student point of view. You're representing the student body, the voice for the student body. What have you learned in this situation? In this title?
I have learned a lot, and it's only been 3 years. So I think my biggest thing is, which I have trouble with because I'm very independent, is delegating. Okay. So I just have this thing where I was like, if it's not done how I want it to, or in the time I need it, or how I'd like it to be, I was like, I'm just going to do it myself. And so I kind of had to make sure I got away from that, even with guidance from my SGA advisor, Ms. Clark. She's just like, Johnae, make sure you delegate. You shouldn't have to do everything yourself, because of course, like, being in the president's position, I think people have this misunderstanding that everything is on me, but in a sense, I have a whole
staff.
Board.
Yeah,
like, I have an executive board that I work with. My executive board is amazing, love them. And so I have to remember sometimes, Johnae, don't do it yourself. You have this person who basically that's their job, so make sure that they do it. So I think that's one thing I'm getting better with. I'm
learning that too. Listen, my secretary is here in the studio, and she could tell you that I'm like that. I like done a certain thing how I want it, and I want it now. But you have a staff for that. You gotta be patient. Yeah.
Yes, literally. Yeah. So I was like, I gotta make sure. I'm like, Johnae, calm down, take a step back. Yeah. And I think also it's not a bad thing. I feel like in the in student leadership, but of course, like, conflict resolution. I mean, that happens with student leadership, just because sometimes students may not see eye to eye with certain things, or we may disagree, because I'm very close with a lot of people in student leadership. And so sometimes we may not see eye to eye, but then at the end of the day, of course, we still have to work together. Yeah. So I think conflict resolution, of course, it's hard to talk about, but it is what it is. Yeah. Deal with it sometimes. So I think conflict resolution, I've gotten a lot better with, because I'm non-confrontational. So that's something I used to struggle with a lot. So now I think that's another thing I've been doing better with. And then also, work-life balance. Because I kind of do treat this position like it's a job, like it's kind of like my full-time job. And now, of course, like, I cherish it. So I literally, before I came here, I was supposed to be on a meeting, and that's why I told you. I was like, today is busy, but I was like, I'm always gonna make time for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So of course, and so I was like, Jesus, I was like, what do I have to do today? So literally every day I pull up my calendar. I'm like, okay, what do I have to do today?
That's why you asked for the calendar invite.
Yes, I'm telling you.
The calendar, yes, I'm telling you. I love a calendar invite, and yes. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not going. No, exactly. Yes.
Like, literally, I was like, those calendar invites are a blessing.
Yes.
So literally, I look at that, and I was like, okay, I'm not busy today. Okay, I should be good. So literally, time management, because like that calendar, I look at my phone calendar. Like, I look at literally every single calendar I have, just because it's like, you have to have time management skills in this position, like, seriously, because sometimes university leadership, they call me like, hey, we need you to be here, just little things like that, just because they're very demanding. Yes. But hey, I love it.
What's next for you? You talk about grad school. Where do you want to go apply? What's next for you?
So I'm looking at a lot of out-of-state schools, just because I've gotten a lot of advice of trying to go out of the state of North Carolina, because I do want to grow, of course, as an individual and learn new things about myself. So I'm really considering going out of state for grad school. And so I'm looking at the University of Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Are you ready for the cold? That's cold.
That's what I'm not ready.
That's cold.
Because I have to do my laundry. Yes. So like my little.
Oh my God! In Austin, not Austin. Excuse me. And UPA just got a notice about your washer, so you have no washer.
Yes. I was like, I think because with the cold and stuff, I think the pipes are frozen right now. So like, I was trying to wash my clothes earlier, and the water wasn't coming out, and I said, Lord Jesus. But I was like, it's okay. I was like, thank God I ordered this trench coat a couple weeks ago, so that's been my backup. So literally, I've been putting on layers. But that's one thing about these up north schools I've been applying to. I'm like,
You better be prepared.
I'm a Southern girl. I was like, I don't know about this cold, but
better
I'm
be
gonna have
prepared.
to go to that Burlington Coat Factory. Okay.
Well, it's not Coke Factory anymore. It's Burlington. It's just Burlington.
Are you serious?
It's not called Burlington Coke Factory anymore.
But yeah, Pittsburgh, Emory University in Atlanta.
Okay.
Ooh, I always forget every school. East Carolina, but
Okay.
that program will probably be online. And then another school, Brown University in Rhode Island.
Ooh, excuse me. Okay.
Yes, they have this HBCU Equity Scholars Program where they
Great.
want HSI and HBCU students to come to their school and, of course, discuss like health equities things and global health, like all different types of public health issues. And they mentor these scholars. It's a full ride scholarship, so I'm praying I even get the scholarship because I would love to go up there. I was like, I've never been to Rhode Island, so I would love to go there.
It's nothing to see, but it's okay. I'm from Connecticut. It's right next door. It's nothing to see. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Madam President, for coming on. I wish you nothing but the best for the rest of your term and after graduation.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. We'll be right back.